What happens when the boxing world collides with hip-hop's royal couple? Claressa Shields just shocked everyone by allegedly leaking Remy Ma's private photos. And at the same time, whispers of Papoose's secret affair are shaking their marriage to its very core. Betrayal, jealousy, and revenge. This isn't just drama. It's an all-out explosion, threatening to destroy everything they've built together. Stay tuned because the truth behind these scandals is even darker than you think. The world of celebrity drama is no stranger to scandals, betrayals, and shocking exposes. But what has just unfolded between boxing champion Claressa Shields, hip-hop queen Remy Ma, and her longtime husband Papoose is something no one could have predicted. It's a collision of worlds, sports, and hip-hop, and at the center lies a storm of accusations, leaked private photos, and rumors of infidelity that could shatter one of rap's most admired marriages. It all began with whispers. Fans noticed subtle tension online, small comments that didn't quite make sense, shady likes on social media, and cryptic tweets that seemed to hint at something bubbling beneath the surface. But nobody connected the dots until Claressa Shields, known as the GOAT greatest woman of all time in boxing, suddenly found herself at the center of an unexpected controversy involving none other than Remy Ma. According to insiders, Claressa allegedly came into possession of Remy's private photos, images that were never meant for the public eye. These were not promotional pictures, not stylized shoots for Instagram likes, but deeply personal photos meant to stay hidden. And when those images allegedly slipped into the open, fingers immediately pointed toward Claressa as the source of the leak. Now, why would a world-class athlete with her own reputation to protect take such a dangerous step? That's where the story becomes even more complicated, because sources claim that Claressa's move wasn't random, but deliberate. An act of revenge tied to the secret she supposedly uncovered about Remy's marriage. Behind the polished public image of Remy Ma and Papoose, the power couple, celebrated for loyalty, unity, and holding each other down through thick and thin cracks had apparently been forming for months. Papoose, the man who famously stood by Remy during her years behind bars, is now accused of betraying her in the most devastating way possible. By stepping outside of their marriage, the whispers of Papoose's secret affair began with late-night sightings, questionable text exchanges, and even allegations of him being seen too close with a woman from the music industry's inner circle. At first, these were dismissed as nothing more than gossip because, let's be honest, who would dare believe Papoose, the very symbol of marital devotion, could stray? But the rumors grew louder, and before long, even fans started to question whether the fairy tale image the couple projected was starting to unravel. And this is where Claressa's role comes back into play. People close to her claim that she became aware of Papoose's alleged infidelity, and in a shocking twist, she decided to weaponize that information. Not only did she allegedly bring the affair into the light, but she also dropped a bombshell by leaking Remy's private photos, effectively throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. To the public, the move seemed unthinkable. Why would Claressa insert herself into a marriage scandal that wasn't hers to expose? Some speculate it was personal, that she felt betrayed or dragged into the mess in a way the world doesn't fully understand yet. Others argue it was a calculated play for attention, clout, and headlines. After all, in today's world of social media, even the most private matters can be weaponized for clicks and views. But one thing is undeniable. Once those photos hit the internet, there was no turning back. Fans reacted with outrage, confusion, and heartbreak. Some rushed to defend Remy Ma, calling her the victim of a cruel violation of privacy. Others turned their anger toward Papoose, demanding answers about whether his loyalty was nothing more than a performance all along. And of course, many had harsh words for Claressa, accusing her of crossing the line between exposing a truth and deliberately humiliating another. The timing of it all only added fuel to the fire. Remy had recently been celebrating new music moves, appearances, and building her brand stronger than ever. Papoose, on the other hand, is being praised for supporting her endeavors and showcasing family-first values in interviews. The leak didn't just embarrass them personally, it struck at the very core of their public image. Social media exploded with hashtags, debates, and conspiracy theories. Was Claressa set up? Was she framed as the one who leaked the photos while someone else pulled the strings? Was this all part of a bigger scheme to tear down Remy and Papoose's empire from the inside? Or was it, as many suspected, a messy mix of jealousy, betrayal, and revenge playing out in real time? Insiders claim that Papoose has been desperately trying to do damage control behind the scenes. Friends of the rapper say he's furious at the allegations of his affair, and even more enraged at the way the story has spiraled out of control. But his silence on social media has only made fans more suspicious. Normally quick to defend his wife and shut down negativity, Papoose's quietness has been deafening, and in the world of celebrity gossip, silence often speaks louder than words. Meanwhile, Remy Ma herself is said to be heartbroken, torn between public humiliation and private devastation. For a woman who fought her way back from prison to rebuild her career and protect her family, being dragged into this kind of scandal feels like a nightmare. Her strength has always been her pride, her ability to rise above challenges and silence her doubters. But this time, the enemy isn't critics or competitors, it's betrayal from within her own circle, magnified by Claressa's shocking involvement. And let's not forget the most disturbing element of this entire situation: the violation of privacy. Leaking private photos is not just a betrayal, it's an attack on dignity. It reduces a woman's image to a weapon, stripping her of control over her own narrative. For someone like Remy, who has carefully balanced her toughness with her femininity, her artistry with her authenticity, this violation cuts deeper than most can imagine. Fans are demanding accountability, not only from Claressa, but also from Papoose. Who was the woman in his alleged affair? Why hasn't he come forward to clear his name? And why, of all people, was Claressa in a position to leak something so personal? These questions remain unanswered, and until they are, speculation will only grow. What we do know is that this scandal is not just about leaked photos or a rumored affair. It's about trust, broken, shattered, and possibly beyond repair. It's about how even the strongest couples, the ones fans look up to as models of loyalty, can crumble under the weight of secrets. And it's about the dangerous power of revenge, when exposing someone's truth becomes a weapon sharper than any blade. As part 1 closes, one thing is clear: this is not just a scandal, it's a ticking time bomb. Claressa's shields may have lit the fuse, but Remy and Papoose are the ones standing in the blast zone. And as more details continue to surface, the world is left wondering, will this marriage survive the storm, or is this the beginning of the end for hip-hop's power couple? If part 1 set the stage with the shocking leak of Remy Ma's private photos and the whispers of Papoose's betrayal, part 2 pulls us deeper into the heart of the chaos, because now the focus has shifted to one burning question: what exactly did Papoose do? And why did Claressa Shields decide to be the one to set this storm in motion? Behind closed doors, insiders are spilling more and more details about what they claim is Papoose's secret life, while fans have long seen him as the devoted husband who never wavered during Remy's incarceration, the man willing to wait, loyal and unwavering. Those closest to the couple say that image may have been too perfect to be true. According to sources, the affair wasn't just a one-time slip-up, it was allegedly an ongoing entanglement with someone who had connections to the industry. The woman at the center of these rumors remains unnamed, though speculation online has been vicious. Some point fingers at upcoming rappers, others at women connected to management teams, while a few even claim it might have been someone within Remy's extended circle. The secrecy around the alleged mistress only adds fuel to the fire, and the lack of denial from Papoose. That silence continues to eat away at the carefully built pedestal he's been standing on for years. But here's where it gets even more tangled. Claressa Shields allegedly found out about this affair months ago. Multiple reports suggest that she was approached with information, screenshots, and possibly even photos that linked Papoose to someone outside his marriage. At first, Claressa supposedly stayed quiet, maybe thinking it wasn't her battle to fight. But when the situation escalated, when whispers started threatening to spill into public spaces, Claressa made her move. And her move wasn't subtle. By allegedly leaking Remy's private photos, she shifted the spotlight directly onto Remy and Papoose's personal lives. But fans are asking, why attack Remy, the victim in this scenario, rather than Papoose? Why expose Remy's dignity when the betrayal came from her husband? Theories abound. Some say Claressa believed Remy already knew about Papoose's affair and chose to ignore it for the sake of her image. If true, Claressa might have seen the leak as a way to force Remy into confronting the truth, to prevent her from continuing to play happy family while hiding heartbreak. Others suggest the leak was a form of intimidation, a way to remind Remy and Papoose that Claressa held the power to destroy everything if they crossed her. But then, there's the most dramatic theory of all, that Claressa herself was somehow personally entangled in the drama. Could she have been connected to Papoose in ways deeper than anyone imagined? Could jealousy, anger, or even feelings of betrayal have fueled her actions? So far, no evidence has surfaced to directly link Claressa and Papoose romantically. But the mere suggestion has set social media on fire. Fans are torn between sympathy and fury. On Twitter, hashtags like #ProtectRemy and #PAPOSE expose trended within hours of the leak. Many defended Remy, calling her a survivor who didn't deserve such humiliation after everything she's endured in her career and personal life. Others lashed out at Papoose, claiming his silence is proof enough of guilt. "If you're innocent, you speak up," one fan posted. "The fact that he's not saying anything tells me everything I need to know." And then there are those pointing their anger directly at Claressa Shields. While some admire her bravery in exposing the truth, the majority see her alleged actions as an unforgivable violation. "You don't protect women by humiliating them," another fan wrote. "Claressa went too far. This isn't justice. It's cruelty." But what makes this scandal even more explosive is the way it's seeping beyond the internet and into the industry itself. Behind the scenes, whispers claim that Remy and Papoose's peers are divided. Some rappers are reportedly rallying behind Remy, offering support and privately condemning Papoose for jeopardizing what many saw as one of hip-hop's last untouchable marriages. Others are staying quiet, unwilling to cross either side in a drama that could have lasting consequences in their own careers. Meanwhile, Claressa's camp is facing its own backlash. For an athlete at the top of her game, whose career relies heavily on sponsorships, public image, and fan loyalty, being dragged into this kind of scandal is risky. Brands don't want to be associated with leaked nudes or accusations of revenge plots. Already, some insiders claim that certain companies are monitoring the situation closely to decide whether to distance themselves from her. For someone who has worked tirelessly to establish herself as the face of women's boxing, this is a dangerous game. But Claressa, true to her reputation as a fighter, doesn't seem fazed. According to sources close to her, she feels justified in what she did. She allegedly believes the world deserves to know the truth about Papoose, and that Remy's image of perfection is just that, an image. In her eyes, this scandal isn't about humiliation. It's about tearing away the facade and forcing reality into the open. Yet, while Claressa might see it as a necessary strike, the fallout is brutal. Remy Ma, who has been trying to maintain her composure in public, is reportedly devastated behind the scenes. Those close to her say she's struggling to balance anger at her husband with the humiliation of her privacy being violated. For a woman who fought so hard to rebuild her reputation after prison, having her dignity stripped away in this way feels like an almost unbearable betrayal. As for Papoose, his silence is starting to crack. Insiders claim he's been meeting with legal teams, considering not only how to protect himself from the affair allegations, but also how to respond to the leak. The possibility of lawsuits, restraining orders, and public statements looms over the entire situation. Some even speculate he might attempt to flip the narrative, painting Claressa as an obsessed outsider trying to drag his family down. Whether or not the public will buy that story, however, is another question entirely. The irony is bitter. Papoose, once praised as the gold standard of loyalty, is now being accused of breaking the very vows that made him a symbol of faithfulness. And Claressa, a woman celebrated for her strength and discipline in the ring, is now being accused of using those same qualities in the cruelest way possible, turning her fists into secrets and her power into destruction. Industry insiders are bracing for what comes next. Will Papoose finally break his silence? Will Remy address the betrayal head-on? And will Claressa double down, perhaps even releasing more evidence if she feels cornered? These questions linger like storm clouds over the entire hip-hop community. But one thing is certain: the narrative is no longer in Remy or Papoose's control. By allegedly leaking those photos, Claressa Shields shifted the balance of power, and until the truth comes out, every whisper, every tweet, every shady comment will feed into the chaos. As part 2 closes, the stage is set for the ultimate confrontation. Papoose cannot stay silent forever. Remy cannot heal until she decides how to respond. And Claressa, she may have more secrets in her arsenal, waiting to explode. What started as whispers of infidelity has now become a full-blown war. And the question is no longer whether Remy and Papoose's marriage can survive, but whether their entire legacy can withstand the storm Claressa Shields has unleashed. The scandal had already reached a boiling point. But part 3 is where the explosion becomes unavoidable. By now, Claressa Shields' alleged leak of Remy Ma's private photos has become the #1 trending topic across social media platforms. Entire timelines are consumed with debates, memes, angry rants, and conspiracy theories. Everyone has chosen a side, and the hip-hop community feels like it's split down the middle. For Remy Ma, the humiliation cuts deep. Those closest to her describe a woman caught in a storm she never asked for. On one hand, she feels betrayed by her husband, the man who built his entire public identity around loyalty and faithfulness. On the other, she feels violated by Claressa, whose alleged actions turned her private pain into a public spectacle. Friends claim Remy hasn't been eating, hasn't been sleeping, and spends hours scrolling through social media, seeing her name dragged through conversations she has no control over. But Remy isn't just any woman. She's a fighter in her own right. From prison sentences to industry blackballing, she has survived storms that would have broken others. And sources suggest that while she is devastated, she's also strategizing. Rumors swirl that Remy has been in talks with her management about a controlled statement, one that will not only address the leak but also reclaim her dignity. She knows the world is watching. One insider said, she won't let this scandal write her story for her. She's going to write her own narrative. Meanwhile, Papoose remains the mystery in this chaos. For a man known for his quick defenses of his wife, his silence has been deafening. Some believe he's staying quiet because he's guilty, while others think he's biding his time, building a defense that will protect both his name and his family. Whispers of him consulting lawyers only intensify speculation that lawsuits could be around the corner, possibly against Claressa Shields for the alleged leak, or against media outlets spreading the affair rumors. The idea of a lawsuit brings us to the legal side of this scandal. Leaking private photos without consent isn't just immoral, it's illegal. If Claressa truly is behind the leak, she could face serious legal repercussions. Lawyers have already begun weighing in on television and online platforms, reminding viewers that revenge leaks and privacy violations carry heavy penalties. And if Papoose and Remy decide to pursue legal action, Claressa could find herself battling not in the boxing ring, but in a courtroom. But Claressa isn't backing down. Sources close to her suggest that she sees herself as the one telling the truth in a world full of lies. In her mind, Remy and Papoose's marriage was built on a false image, and she believes the world needed to see behind the curtain. She doesn't regret it, one insider revealed. In her eyes, she exposed the truth. And if people can't handle it, that's on them. Still, the backlash is relentless. Fans are calling for Claressa's sponsors to drop her. Petitions are circulating online demanding accountability. Some of her own supporters, who once praised her as an inspiration for women in sports, now accuse her of betraying that same cause by weaponizing another woman's vulnerability. You don't become the greatest woman of all time by tearing other women down. One critic posted, yet even in the midst of the storm, Claressa continues to play the role of the unapologetic fighter. Whether this is her genuine stance or a calculated act of defiance remains unclear. But one thing is certain, she has no intention of bowing out quietly. Behind the scenes, hip-hop insiders are whispering about the bigger implications of this scandal. Remy and Papoose weren't just a couple. They were a symbol. For years, they represented loyalty, endurance, and the possibility of love surviving the harshest conditions. Their relationship was celebrated in interviews, documentaries, and even reality TV. If their bond could crumble, what does that say about love in the industry? Fans are shaken, left questioning whether any of the images celebrities project can truly be trusted. And while fans wrestle with disillusionment, industry players are carefully watching what Remy does next. Some believe she'll use this as fuel for her music, pouring her pain into lyrics that will not only address the betrayal, but also solidify her comeback. Others worry she might step away from the spotlight altogether, retreating to heal away from public scrutiny. As for Papoose, his reputation hangs by a thread. The longer he remains silent, the more control he loses over the narrative. Every day that passes, the accusations grow louder, and the image of hip-hop's most loyal husband fades further into doubt. For someone who built his brand on that loyalty, the fall from grace could be devastating not just to his marriage, but to his career. And what about the unnamed woman rumored to be involved in the affair? So far, she remains in the shadows. But insiders warn that if her identity comes to light, the drama could spiral even further. If she speaks out, confirming or denying the affair, it could either destroy what little credibility Papoose has left, or give him the ammunition he needs to fight back. The tension is unbearable, and fans are demanding answers. They want Remy to speak. They want Papoose to confess or deny. They want Claressa to either prove her claims or face the consequences of her actions. Until that happens, speculation will continue to run wild. But here's the harsh truth. No matter what happens next, the damage is already done. Remy's privacy has been violated. Papoose's image has been tainted. Claressa's reputation has been dragged into the mud. Even if apologies are issued, even if explanations come, the scars from this scandal will linger for years. And so, you're left with the ultimate question. Can Remy and Papoose's marriage survive this? History shows that couples in the spotlight rarely recover from scandals this severe. Trust, once shattered, is nearly impossible to rebuild. Even if they decide to stay together publicly, the bond behind closed doors may never be the same. Fans who once looked up to them as the ultimate ride or die couple are now watching in real time as that image crumbles. And Claressa, whether she intended to or not, has become the catalyst for one of the most shocking implosions in hip-hop history. As Part 3 draws to a close, the world waits for the next move. Will Remy finally break her silence and reclaim her power? Will Papoose risk everything by telling his side of the story? Will Claressa unleash even more secrets if cornered? Or will this entire scandal spiral into legal battles that drag out for years? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. The leaks, the betrayal, the silence, it is all built into a storm that shows no signs of passing. And whether Remy and Papoose survive it or not, hip-hop will never look at them or Claressa Shields the same way again. Because in the end, this isn't just about leaked photos or an alleged affair, it's about power, image, and the brutal cost of truth in a world where secrets are currency and betrayal is only a headline away. And there you have it, one of the most shocking scandals to ever hit both the boxing ring and the hip-hop stage. Claressa Shields, Remy Ma, and Papoose, three names now forever tied together in a storm of betrayal, leaks, and broken trust. But the question remains, who do you believe? Was Claressa justified in exposing the truth? Or did she cross a line that can never be forgiven? Is Papoose guilty of shattering the loyalty he once stood for? Or is he being dragged into a narrative that isn't his reality? And most importantly, can Remy Ma, a woman who has survived everything life has thrown her way, rise above this devastation and reclaim her crown? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Whose side are you on, and what do you think will happen next? Don't just scroll past this story. Be part of the conversation, and if you want to stay locked in on every twist, every leak, and every shocking revelation shaking the culture, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell for instant updates and join us as we uncover the truth behind hip-hop's most explosive scandals.